What's up, Writing Workshop? Happy Ice Day, I suppose. A little bit of an unexpected virtual day, but we deal with it. I do appreciate your patience with me with getting this lesson out. I did have to tweak some things about this week's lessons because we're virtual today. I'm hoping that today's is manageable for you. As we know, it is a virtual day. If you haven't said a prayer for your learning today, I would encourage you to pause this video. Just say a quick prayer before you continue in this one. I'm gonna just kind of double back to thesis writing for the persuasive research essay today. Alright, and I hope you've had a chance to kind of pause and pray if you haven't done so yet. We kind of have two objectives today. One is to write effective thesis statements for persuasive writing, as I'll cover in a moment here. We can also use today to start researching evidence as well. That would be the logical next step in outlining for your persuasive research essay. I would imagine some of you are ready to start working on that today. Others may have other things to focus on today. Right now you're watching the thesis and evidence video. We'll look at that in just a moment here. The only thing I'll ask you to do assignment-wise today, if you haven't done so yet, is write your thesis statement in your persuasive research essay outline. It's inside of today's lesson folder now, so you can click into it. We'll look at that together in a moment. As I said a moment ago, you're free to outline further if you like. Please know that the first half of our block lesson coming up here will also be for continuing outlining and research. I will check thesis statements tomorrow, so I want to make sure that you're getting those written tonight. It's also important that you make sure any missing work is in and completed before I send grade reports. I will be sending those tonight. I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with college application essays there. I might be able to grade all the remaining ones today. I might choose to send grade reports before I finalize grades on them. I haven't decided there yet. But it is in your best interest to make sure any missing work is in before I send those grade reports later this evening. So once again, looking at today's lesson folder, you'll see Thesis and Evidence-Writing. That is the video that you're watching right now. I want to walk through what my outline looks like so far. You can also click into your own outline right here if you haven't done so yet. I haven't really looked at student outlines yet, so I have no idea how many of you have started outlining for your persuasive research essay yet. But you do have a copy of the document that you can use to keep track of your own plan for your persuasive research essay. I'll be opening mine up here in just a moment. One thing I will note there is some of you haven't selected topics yet for the persuasive research essay. I did leave Friday's lesson folder open, so if you need to double back there to select your topic, or to read my comments on the topic you chose in the Choose Your Topic discussion, again, last Friday's lesson folder is open in Schoology. Once again, thesis statement check. This is just the spot where I'll be grading out of 5 points, little completion grade, just that you have your thesis statement in your outline. You'll want to open up your persuasive research essay outline. I'm just looking for thesis statements tomorrow. You can research an outline as much as you like. And here's what my outline looks like so far. Once again, that super important first step is to get your thesis statement written. Notice that it goes last in your introduction. It's still the first thing that you should plan within your outline. Again, I use Roe versus Wade or abortion every year as my topic. That's why it's an off-limits topic for you guys. And I make a different argument every year. So again, what's on paper right here may or may not be my official stance on Roe versus Wade. If you want to talk with me more individually about it, face-to-face is great there. But this year, here's what I'm arguing. I said for my thesis, ultimately, Roe versus Wade, italicized because it is a Supreme Court case, should not be overturned because it would be dangerous to do so. Not only would it create a black market for abortions, but it would also create interstate border issues. So I'm keeping my focus just on some of the nasty side effects that might happen if Roe versus Wade were ever overturned. Are there other arguments that could be made? Certainly. I just wanted to focus on these ones this year. The other thing that I've done ahead of time is I've used my thesis to start planning out my body. Now, one thing that the directions note right here is that I've only given you enough space to plan out 5 paragraphs, so that'd be 2 body paragraphs and a counter-argument in the middle. You can certainly add as many arguments and as many body paragraphs as you like. I'm just going to be focusing on 2 arguments in my outline. And the only thing I've done in my body paragraphs so far is I have planned out my topic sentences a bit. Friendly reminder, outlines do not have to be in complete sentences, so I just gave myself some notes for topics right here. I'm going to talk about black markets in my first body paragraph. And then in my second one, I'll talk about interstate border problems, like what we might see in Texas and Oklahoma, for instance. Sorry if there's a weird jump in the video right there. As you could maybe hear, my daughter was freaking out a little bit there. One thing that I have noticed on outlines is that people tend to fall in two camps when it comes to how they proceed from their thesis. Some people like to round out their introduction first. Other people, like me, I fall more into camp two, like to start to plan out their evidence. Especially in a research paper, you want to make sure that you have plenty of evidence that to actually support your arguments, right? So even though I think that overturning Roe versus Wade might create a black market for abortions, I don't know if there's a whole lot of research that supports that. So I'll need to do some internet research to look at that. So one thing that I'll need to do is some internet research just to see what the experts say about that. Let me just look up abortion black market. I just want to see what happens. See, this first one talks about a black market for abortion pills, which I don't necessarily want to look at. This is one that I found last week. I just want to see if there's anything helpful here. Look at what happens when abortion is forbidden from countries where it still is. And this is one that I found last week that just didn't carry over into this week. As I was reading through this Atlantic article, I found this great direct quote. According to the Guttmacher Institute, abortion rates in countries where abortion is legal are similar to those in countries where it's illegal. In parts of the world where abortion is illegal, botched abortions still cause about 8 to 11% of all maternal deaths, about 30,000 each year. That is a good piece of evidence to support my argument, so I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. Let's see if I can paste this in. Control-V. I could Control-V to paste, but since I know I'm in Microsoft Word, I might want to just paste this as keep text only. And since this is a direct quote, I need to put this in quotation marks. There is one more thing I need to do to avoid plagiarism, and that's cite my source right here. All I need to do for now is use the author's last name. It is Kazan. I could put this as a parenthetical, which is what I'll do right now. Kazan. Period. I don't need the period inside the quote. I could just easily go to the top of my evidence and say Olga Kazan writes. We will cover this a little more in our block lesson this week, just how to properly introduce evidence. Notice that I need another piece of evidence in that paragraph. Could be a quote or a paraphrase, but I won't necessarily do that right now. I'm going to use a similar search term to see if I can find some information on interstate border problems. Let me just type in what happens if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Just curious to see what happens. Alright, y'all, sorry if there's another weird jump in our video right here. I've done a little bit of scanning just to see if I can find some good information on interstate border problems if Roe versus Wade is overturned. I did some scanning of a couple of sites that weren't super helpful. I do think that I can use something from this New York Times article. So let me go here real quick. October 15th, 2020, so about the beginning of the pandemic, as we see right there. Let's see if I can find some good information here. I am just going to start with this one right here. Now I'm going to Control-C this as a direct quote, but I think I want to practice paraphrasing a little bit here as well. So I will paste this in, but I just want to practice paraphrasing a bit. So it says, without Roe, abortion would probably become illegal in 22 states. 41% of women of childbearing age would see the nearest abortion clinic close. Average distance they would have to travel to reach one would be 280 miles. Now I haven't established why that's a problem just yet, but that's what my commentary is for. I need to paraphrase this one. So what I might start with is the author's name, actually, in my paraphrase. There's actually 3 authors, so I'll just use their last names here. According to Bui, Miller, and Sanger-Katz. Again, we will go over this a little bit more in our block lesson. According to Bui, Miller, and Sanger-Katz. I think it was K-A-T-Z, I'll double check that. Yep. Comma, overturning the case. I'm assuming that I've already established this is Roe versus Wade, would make abortion fully illegal in 22 states. I should spell out numbers, period, because I no longer need to paraphrase it. It says 41%. I might paraphrase it even further. You know what, I'll just say about 40%. of women would face clinic closures. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I have to change up my wording and phrasing here. I can still use a comma and, though. And average travel distances would spike. And average travel, yeah, that's fine. Get rid of the rest of the paraphrase. Now, on this one, I don't have to put in direct quotes. I've already put the author's last names, and I have already paraphrased it. One thing I might do is shrink this down spacing-wise a little bit, just to pretty up my outline. Let's go 1.5. Might hit a space there. There we go. And I'll do the same for my other evidence. I don't think I did that yet. So the process that I just demonstrated of finding evidence is what I normally do just immediately after I get my thesis written in a persuasive essay. I want to make sure I have the research out there to support my arguments. This might be a step that you want to start today. Otherwise, keep in mind we do have some time in class this week to get on and continue outlining. We are also using next week as an outlining week too. So take your time as you do your research. I never want you to feel rushed as you research and as you outline for an assignment like this. The more heavy lifting we do now, the more planning we do early on in this process, the easier drafting is going to be as we enter into the month of March, heading towards spring break. Once again, the only thing I'm looking for assignment-wise today is to check your thesis statement. So at the very least, you'll need to plot that into your outline. Once again, some of you have not chosen your topic yet. Again, the Choose Your Topic discussion is inside of Friday, February 18th. You will want to do this, especially if you haven't checked my feedback yet on this. Make sure you're looking through my comments on your topics already. Be sure that you're claiming a topic if you don't have one yet. You'll need to do so before you write your thesis. I do want you to be ready to do some researching and do some more outlining during our block lesson coming up here over the next few days. I've spoken enough. I want to give you guys a chance to use today to catch up on what you need and to continue forward with thesis writing. I will be available on Microsoft Teams if you need me for any help this afternoon. Peace.